show. Maybe it's a two-hander about people in a retirement community, and it'll be really funny, and we'll write songs. And then the more and more we thought about it, the more, in a way, like, I don't want to do that. And we looked around at other stuff that had been done, and it's all very kitschy, and some of it's fine. I mean, it's just, but often I find that the shows that are written about the older set, we're laughing kind of at them. You know, are they treated as kind of, you know, jolly old people, or
it's one Viagra joke after another,
right? Or it's something like that. And we thought, you know, we don't want to do that. We really want to treat this group, this marginalized group, actually, with a certain amount of respect. And then I was on the phone with my mother, who is of that age and sees theater every Sunday. Well, not right now, obviously, but every Sunday she has her group. They go to the Broadway theater. They see the show or the play, whatever it is. And I was talking to her on the phone, and I said, hey, how's it going? We haven't spoken in a couple weeks, which is rare because I'm a son of a Jewish mother. And I said, so what's been going on? She goes, my hair is finally long. I said, oh, well, that's great. Cool. And she said, no, it's really wonderful. I said, why is it so wonderful? And she said, I've always wanted long hair. This is a 78-year-old woman. And I said, wow, okay, cool, Mom. Good for you. And we got off the phone, and I couldn't shake, not the fact that her hair was long, I couldn't shake what it meant to her. The feeling in her voice, the kind of unadulterated joy about this very, in a way, mundane thing. And then it happened. And then what Lisa said, I woke up the next morning really early, and I didn't write anything about having to do with that, but that's where the first scene was born, of an older lady and an older gentleman talking about having sex again. I mean, it has to be funny.
You did ask why the music in the play.
Was that the question?
Did not answer the question. So.
Well, that's a good question.
We can answer that now.
Okay. We'll answer that. Don't worry, this is only going to be 3 hours of tape. The reason why there's music in the play is because life is music, to us at least. And you know, that something that John actually taught us was, and he taught us something that we were doing that we didn't know we were doing. He said, your play is very musical, even though it's a play. It feels like song, you know, and that's the way he writes. And I mean, there's no secret here. Look, we went to the John Cariani School of Playwriting, and we did this vignette play, and it is in homage to him in a sense, because he's a genius. And we didn't set out to, we're going to do that.
No.
It just happened that way,
right.
Because there were all these different scenarios that we wanted to capture. It wasn't so much about what they're doing as opposed to who they're being. And so the music kind of organically was born out of the talent show, because one of the things we learned, we've done a few of these retirement community gigs. And one of the things we learned is that they have a lot of activities, and by the way, they're awesome. And two, there's always a talent show.
Right.
And what's really interesting is that some of the people are really talented.
Yeah.
And some of the people are really not talented, and that's incredible to watch too. You know, because it's like, who cares if they can sing well or dance well? It's the unbridled exuberance at which they approach the gig,
but also the authenticity, because when, you know, as we're learning, the older we get, the less patience we have for inauthenticity, and we don't have any time to waste when it comes to pretending. And I think that when you get that set who is at that point, they're just, this is why we follow artists we do. This is why we go to live theater. This is because we want to take a glimpse or touch upon that moment that is so real, so truthful. And I feel that is what you get when you get with older people.
Yeah, and when we did it, it was first read at Cherry Lane Theater in New York, and Mary Beth Peale was one of the actors in it. And she sang one of our they're little ditties, let's be honest. This isn't a musical. They're little ditties. They come in and out. There aren't so many. But when she sang, and I'm not a crier, I bawled my eyes out. And I knew what was coming. We wrote it. But it was just one of those things. It's another way to create emotional movement that we, you know, tried to take advantage of in short little snippets.
That's wonderful. So talk to me a little bit about how this play fits into this moment in our world?
Well, I'm going to say it again because I feel strongly about it now. It's not political. It's just, it's a strong feeling. Older people are isolated. And it's not because they want to isolate themselves. It's because we like to forget about them. We don't want to deal with it.
We don't want to look at it.
We don't want to look at it because it reminds us of, oh, we're going to be there at some point. But every time I think that, I think, God, I hope I don't want to be isolated. And we're all isolated right now. And I think there's a huge kind of parallel there I mean, look, we're not really living the life of an older person in their 70s or what have you, because we're young, we're able to use our studio as a gym in the morning, right? We can exercise, we can do it. And old people can do that too. It's just a question about the idea of feeling forgotten. And I certainly experienced that with the older people in my life, my mother, my aunt, who I love dearly, all the powerful, powerful women in my life. And there's only been women. My father died when I was very young. And I saw my mother feel isolated when I was a kid, and she's a single mom. And then I see her go through sickness, isolated. Her friends drop her. Then I see her get older and older and older. And she's living right now in the suburbs in a 4-bedroom house by herself, isolated. And really isolated because we can't even go and hang out with her. She can't come here for dinner. So this is a chance to kind of, I guess, just point out that there's a whole group of people out there who have a lot of living and a lot of wisdom that we're forgetting about and letting them feel alone. And that's not okay. We're all in this together. And I'm hoping that this experience through this pandemic allows us to extend that idea through the rest of our days, not just now, because there's all sorts of people of color, people of this, people of that. And then there's also this whole other group that no one talks about, who are all colors, all races, all sorts of things, but they're also older, and that's harder.
It also brings me to the most genius log line that I've ever heard come out of your mouth, which is, this is a play about people dying to live. This is not a play about people dying.
Right.
This is about people dying to live, and we all are dying to live. It doesn't matter how old you are. And I think that that's what this entire pandemic has taught us, is that what's important, what do we really care about, and what are we doing? What are we going to do with the time we have left? Because we've had a lot of time for the last few months to think about it and to be in it. And that is...
which is the central question of the play. And by the way, the reason why she always gives me how genius that logline was, because she's always the one who has the genius stuff. I got one. So she likes to give it to me, and I appreciate it.
But it is a good one. It's
a good one.